Okay, we had the new parts come through from the factory. We'll get them on the car ahead of FP1.
What's going on, guys? It's Luke22SV here, back with the 17th round of Season 2 for the Mick Schumacher career mode here for the Japanese Grand Prix. Back with some upgrades to the car, which have put us firmly on top now of the team's performance area. We are first ahead of Renault and Ferrari, and Red Bull have slipped to 4th. So they've obviously not done well in a development race this season, and that's really cost Daniel Ricciardo this season's chance at the title, as it's now just a 2-horse race pretty much between myself and Charles Leclerc, who caught up significantly in the Russian Grand Prix by 15 points. Actually, in the end we finished 5th. He won that race. We had to start from the back of the grid, which should hopefully help us in the last few races of the season. We should hopefully see Leclerc take a few penalties with between USA and Abu Dhabi. But here we are on our first incident of the weekend. We just got onto the curb, and then we tried to correct, and then we just kept overcorrecting and correcting our mistake, and we ended up in the wall. So not the ideal way to start this weekend, but yeah, it's a little bit of a scare coming through the Dunlop curve. We just got it onto the curve, and then when we corrected our mistake, we went onto the gravel, and then we just ended up going oversteering again, and then into the wall. A very silly incident to have. But we head into qualifying then for one of my favourite tracks on this calendar. It has to be said, one of the most historical tracks as well on the calendar. Plenty of history has been settled here. Teammates are colliding as well. Lots of championships have been settled here as well. In 2003, being the most previous one, I believe, of Michael Schumacher settling in the title in 8th place, I think it was that day. And there could be a potential for titles to be sorted here. We'll see how it goes between myself and Leclerc this weekend. But this is the important part of the qualifying. There's very few overtaking spots around this track, so we have to get a good qualifying here and good grid position. Senna and Prost, of course, they've had two coming together around here in 89 and 90. Teammates in 89, so could there be a repeat of the Senna and Prost incidents over the past, with two title rivals colliding with each other at this stage in the championship? When we head to Japan, we've got 5 races left, including this race, and USA, Mexico, and then of course we go to Brazil and Abu Dhabi for the last couple of races of the season. But this is my best lap. We did try and improve this lap after this lap, but we just couldn't improve from that, and we were happy with this lap as we come through the last couple of sections. We're well up on Max Verstappen's time going in sector 2, and now we're going to come around to the final corner, which you like to take in 3rd gear rather than the recommended 2nd gear. We just get better exit out of that corner than we do with 2nd gear. It's just easy for us. A nice little run down to the start finish straight. It's going to be provisional pole by some margin, actually. We were 7 tenths clear of Charles Leclerc, who was actually 2nd when he posted his lap time. But we ended the session just a 10th clear in the end. Well, just half a 10th clear of Leclerc, so he did manage to close in on our time, and we almost had to improve our time, but just our first run was good enough for pole position then. An all-important pole position potentially. We need to get a good start then for the race, with Leclerc lining up in 2nd, and they've got Sainz, Red Bull of Ricciardo and Verstappen, and then the 2 Ferraris as well, and Bottas having a miserable qualifying, and there's a miserable career mode in this career mode. We head on into the race then for the Japanese Grand Prix. Hopefully it's going to be a good one. This could be what decides the championship, maybe. We could go 20 points clear with a win, and Charles Leclerc coming 2nd, and he could shorten the gap to, I think it's 6 points if he comes in the lead, which will really close it down going into the last 4 races. We both are looking for a good result here, so both of us are looking to keep it on the track as well. So here we are, no penalties for myself or Leclerc. We're in pole position. Sainz is 3rd, Ricciardo is 4th, and then you can see Verstappen and Vettel on row 3, followed by Raikkonen and Hamilton, and then Esteban Ocon and Nico Hulkenberg on row 5, Perez and Bottas in row 6, Gasly and Grosjean, 2 French partnering on row 7, then Hartley, Alonso, Van Dorn, Kevin Magnussen, and the 2 Williams rounding off on the back row, as you'd expect. And now we go on to the start of this race then for the Japanese Grand Prix, with the 5 red lights about to come on. And now we're about to see them go away, and it's lights out, and away we go, and we go straight away to cross off Charles Leclerc, who goes straight past us. We leave him enough room, and he just managed to take that room. He goes past us into the lead of this race, but we dive back past him into turn 2 and get back past. But now he's got back underneath us. Reed takes the lead, going up towards these S's. But now, have we managed to get put ahead of him? Yes, we have. So we lead the way as yellow flag for some reason behind us. We're not really sure what that's for, but we lead the way then at the Japanese Grand Prix, almost getting onto the dirt. A little bit scruffy there, but we come through Dunlop Curve and towards Degner 1 and Degner 2. We lead the Grand Prix then from Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. So everything is status quo. From the start, we lock up going into Degner 2. That's going to put Leclerc well onto the back of us. Is he going to make a move into the hairpin? Are we going to be able to defend from him? He's on the outside. And we get onto the grass a little bit there, and we're out of shape just to get in a bit of oversteer, but we do keep the lead then for the time being. We lead the race then from Charles Leclerc. There's more yellow flags, probably just because they're going so slowly around that corner. And now, is he going to be able to overtake us going up to Spoon? We can see the proximity arrow there behind us. We're not really looking forward. We don't think that Spoon's an overtaking spot. If you'd ask Sebastian Vettel, we'd probably agree. But we're moving up towards 130R. Now Leclerc's going to get a run on us. Can Leclerc get ahead of us in the 130R? We've seen Alonso use that as an overtaking spot before. Is he going to be able to make it round the outside? He goes round the outside, he goes off the track, and he's completely off. And Charles Leclerc is completely off the track, and he's out. And well, he's not out of the race, but he's completely ruined his race. And the safety car's been deployed for some reason because of that. And we decide to take the option to come into the pits and fit on some soft tyres as the safety car has come out. But Leclerc has just completely ruined his race by going off the track there. And another problem with the AI, they just, once they go off the track, they're like, what do I do now? And that's literally what we saw with Leclerc, and for some reason the safety cars come out. You can see like a multi-car pile up, and there'd be yellow flags wave for about a couple seconds, whereas you see a car literally go off the road for a couple seconds, and then the safety car gets brought out. That's something that needs to be fixed on the next game. But we're now out in 20th place. We're the only one who's pitted. So hopefully, when the safety car comes out, we'll be having a fairly substantial lead over the rest of the pack. Maybe this is a masterstroke from us to pit, and everyone else is staying out. So this is the start then. This is the replay from the start. We move across to defend our line from Leclerc, but it's to no avail. He gets past us. He gets a better launch, and he's leading going into turn 1. But he goes wide and blocks off Carlos Sainz almost there. And then we overtake him. He cuts back underneath, and then leads the way going up towards the first test. We got the inside line, then he's got the inside line, but we just hang it round the outside and we lead the way then from the start up towards, of course, 130R, and we go off a bit there as well. But now we'll have the on board of Charles Leclerc from the start. Here it is, and we move across, and there's just about a Sauber car length there as he just managed to take it. Goes past. We cut back underneath him into turn 1, but he cuts back underneath us into turn 2. So Leclerc ends up getting back ahead, going towards the S's. Leclerc looked like he was almost favourite to stay ahead at this point, but we just managed to stay ahead. Not making any contact there, I don't think, but Leclerc was in P2 at this stage as he followed us around for the rest of the lap, and we got onto the grass. We were very lucky not to spin off with that. But coming up towards 130R, here's the overtake, or the lack of overtake. Leclerc going to the outside on 130R. We didn't do anything to push him off the track here, and he just goes off the track and just turns off. A ridiculous bit of driving from Leclerc as it, well, basically moves to us because of the safety car. His car's ghosting, but here it is on the outside. I don't understand why he did this. He could have just backed out of it, or at least just, I don't know, but he could have just come back on the track. That was just not the right option. But we're going to move on then to the safety car coming in. So no one else is pitted. We're behind Charles Leclerc, and now the safety car is about to come in. And we're on these new soft tyres. They're about 4%, as you can see there. So we're going to the end of this race, and we should be fine on these tyres. We were going to come in on lap 4 anyway, and it's lap 4 as the safety car comes in. So we've probably pulled off a master stroke here, and now as the safety car comes in, we've actually got a bit poorly away. We've got caught napping slightly. Leclerc is flying away from us towards turn 1. He's now going to be trying to overtake Sergei Sorokin, but we're going to be going into turn 1 looking for an opportunity, and indeed he does get past Sorokin, but on these cold tyres we just slide off the edge of turn 1, turn 2, and we've got it all to do now on our first lap then. First proper racing lap is lap 4, and we're actually really struggling. We just go and check the tyre temps there, as you can see, but then we're just going to make sure these tyres get warmed up, and just hopefully this is the important phase of the race. We just got to make sure that we keep these tyres fresh and warm them up significantly. But moving on to the end of this lap then, we've actually managed to warm our tyres up. Now we're going straight past Sergei Sorokin for up 130 on the inside, and he actually just, his engine is actually just gone there, so he's just retiring from the race there. So for a car retiring with an engine failure, there's only yellow flags for that, and for a car literally going off the track momentarily, there's a safety car. But yeah, that's this game for you. It's just a bit ridiculous at times, but we got Lance Stroll now ahead, our next target. Getting past these, we got past one GP2 car, now we're looking to get past the other, and we go cleanly round the outside into turn 2. Literally so much more grip and so much more mechanical and aero grip. We just easily force away past Lance Stroll. Poor man in that poor car. But now we're close enough to Leclerc actually, who is yet to pit actually. So it's just been shown how bad that incident with Leclerc has been. Just breaking the rule number 1 with 2 teammates having a little incident. But we're now chasing Leclerc for P17. But we don't really need to fight these guys, because the guys in front, Carlos Sainz, who's leading the race at the moment, Daniel Ricciardo and everyone else down the order, is all going to have to come into the pits within these next couple of laps. So we should really be moving ahead of all these guys, and we don't really need to fight them. But we're getting held up a little bit by Stoffel Van Dorn, who's holding up our teammate Charles Leclerc at this stage. And Charles Leclerc, is he going to think about making another move into 130R? We saw how badly it went last time he made a move, but is he going to think about it this time? It looks like he's staying behind until the chicane, but we're actually close enough to think about making a move here. We go a little bit wide onto the AstroTurf. We think about it, we dive down the inside of Leclerc, we get to the corner. He almost does a Prost on us actually by turning in on us, but we get past him, and he's going to pit as well. We go with that bump there as well, which is a very dodgy bump on the last corner of the lap. And now, the last corner of the lap. And now we are on lap 6. We've just got to come around, and now we've just got to wait for everyone else to pit. And there's Stoffel Van Dorn, who should be pitting this lap as well. And now we can see him just ahead of us. We're closing in on him in these S's, and the audio has glitched a bit there as well, I think. But now we're coming around the outside, and we're going to cleanly drive straight past him almost. Is he going to see us? He doesn't see us. He turns in on us, but luckily no problems for us. We get past him in the end, but Stoffel Van Dorn turning in on us, and we do get past him now. But going on to Degner 1 and then Degner 2, we lock up quite badly there. And now we've got P8, and everyone else in front of us will be pitting at the end of this lap. So we're going to have a huge lead over these guys, which is just perfect. I don't know how big this lead will be, but moving on to lap 7, you can see how big the lead is. Now, Carlos Sainz behind us, and this lead is awesome for us. We literally just have to bring the car home now in P1. We're going to gain 25 points over Charles Leclerc. So his incidents really cost him dearly in this World Championship, and it looks like perhaps his incident's going to cost him his title as well, unless we have any more issues in this racing in the season. We don't know what's going to happen yet, but the gap in Sector 2 between myself and Carlos Sainz is 9 seconds. So a comfortable gap to Carlos Sainz. All we have to do now is just bring the car home in these last few laps of this race. Hopefully these tyres don't wear out. Of course, surely Sainz isn't going to catch up to us that quickly. We've got probably a slightly better car than him at the moment as well. And, in fact, I think he might have gained a little bit of time there. Raikkonen's 11 seconds behind too. But that is how it is at the moment. And moving on, actually, a couple of laps later, our closest match at the moment, Carlos Sainz. He's coming through Degner 1. Coming through the Dunlop and up to Degner 1. He's got a puncher now, so Carlos Sainz, our nearest competitor, almost running into our next competitor, Raikkonen. He's got a puncture, and he's going to have to bring it back to the pits as well, and that's a complete disaster for Carlos Sainz, who ends up getting hit by Hamilton and is out of the race. And with the car on the track with a broken wheel, there's still going to be no safety car for that. But moving on then, we're on lap 10 now, and surely nothing can go wrong now in this race. We've got a big gap to big gap to Raikkonen now, which we're over a 10-second gap as we come through the 130R corner on lap 10 of this race. We go onto the AstroTurf, which sends us a little bit oversteering, and we're in a spin, and that is not what we wanted at all. And a huge mistake for us. We reverse into the wall. Luckily, our rear end of this car is basically 10 times as strong as the front end, but we managed to get away with it, and we're still leading this race from Kimi Raikkonen. What is the gap going to be as we cross the line? Well, a complete could have been much worse than that. It's only just under 2 seconds in this race now. So let's have a look at what happened in this replay then. Why did we end up going off? Here it is in slow motion. We go through 130R, we just run wide onto that AstroTurf, and that's just not good at all. We get out of shape, having to correct the oversteer, and then we're correcting it again. At that point, we're facing the wall, so luckily, if anything, we do actually end up tagging the wall just then. But we're in a spin, and luckily none of our front wing is gone, none of our wheels are gone. And in fact, that spin was probably the best possible outcome of going off there. But moving on to the final lap of this race then, we still have the lead of this race, and the gap between myself and Kimi Raikkonen has not changed at all. So we're leading this race remarkably, despite all these little incidents that have happened in this race between myself and Leclerc, and then Carlos Sainz, and myself going into the wall actually on 130R. We're still leading this race, and we're still likely to gain 25 points on Charles Leclerc. So despite everything that's happened in this race, we're going to be able to bring her home and bring home a win in Japan, and a vital win. Just at this time of the season, it's definitely something you need the luck going your way, and the luck's gone our way in this race. Very much hasn't gone Leclerc's way, but we can't really complain about that. We don't know what's going to happen in USA, and then Mexico and Brazil and Abu Dhabi. Of course, we had Magnussen, who really ruined our race this time last season in USA, so we don't know what might happen again at that race. But we come around these last few corners then towards the Sector 3 part of this track. 130R and the final chicane beckons, and we've just got these last few corners then to gain 25 points in this championship lead, which should put us 38 points clear, and that would mean that we would only need to finish third 3 times and finish second once, with Leclerc winning every race, to actually need to win this championship. If we cross the line then to take another win this season, and a great result for us, and Sauber keep winning at the moment. We'll have a consecutive amount of wins since Spa actually. We won in Spa, Leclerc won in Spa, we won in Monza, and Leclerc's won since then as well. So we cross the line with P1, and a huge result then for us, swinging in our favour. We come out onto the podium. Daniel Ricciardo is definitely out of this championship now. You'd have to imagine, who did end up finishing quite high in the end, I think. Raikkonen was second, which is unlikely. Hamilton ended up finishing third, which is a good result for Mercedes. And, Mercedes, we haven't actually seen him on the podium with us when we've actually been up there. But coming on then to the end of this race then, and the end of the episode, Ricciardo finished down in 8th, so he's definitely going to be out of the championship. He's only gained 4 points, and we increase our championship lead by 25 points. And we'll have a look at the standings now. There's a 38-point lead to Charles Leclerc, and a 56-point lead to Ricciardo. So it really is a 2-horse race, if you can call it that. We need to just stay ahead of Leclerc now for the last couple of races of the season. Now we're going to look at the constructors, if it comes up on screen any moment now. And there it is. We've got over 102-point lead over Red Bull now. So the constructors is really looking in our favour. We should be able to conceal that now. But that's going to be the end of the episode there, guys. A huge result then in the Japanese Grand Prix. We'll see what happens in USA in a few days' time. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you then.